My name is Evelyn Harper, and for 6 years I believed the best way to have a peaceful relationship with my daughter-in-law was to know when to stay silent. My son Nathan had married Chloe after meeting her at work. From the beginning, Chloe was confident, organized, and extremely independent. She liked making her own decisions, and I respected that. I never wanted to be the mother-in-law who constantly gave advice or appeared at her son's house without warning, so I gave them space. When Nathan invited me for dinner, I always asked Chloe if it was a good time. When they were busy, I stayed home. When Chloe planned something for the weekend, I never interfered. For years, I thought we had a decent relationship. Then everything changed because of one argument I wasn't even part of. One Saturday morning, I received a message from Chloe. "Please stop coming to our house." I read it twice, then another message appeared. "I don't want you here anymore. Unless Nathan specifically asked you to come, stay away." I was shocked. I hadn't been to their house in almost a month. I called Nathan. He answered after several rings. "Mom, did something happen between Chloe and me?" He became quiet. "What did she say?" I told him. Nathan sighed. "Mom, Chloe thinks you interfere too much." I couldn't believe it. "I haven't even been visiting." "I know," he said, "but she's upset." I wanted to argue. I wanted to ask him what exactly I had done. Instead, I simply said, "Okay, I'll respect her decision." And I did. I stopped visiting. I stopped dropping off food. I stopped sending messages asking if they needed anything. I didn't even go to their house for Nathan's birthday. I simply sent him a gift and told him I hoped he had a wonderful day. For almost 3 months, I heard very little from them. Then one Tuesday evening, someone knocked on my front door. It was Nathan. He looked exhausted. "Mom, can I come in?" "Of course." He sat at the kitchen table and stared at the floor. Something happened with Chloe's business. I poured him some tea. "What kind of problem?" Nathan explained that Chloe had started a small interior design company with a business partner named Marcus. The company had been doing well until they discovered that almost $90,000 was missing from one of their business accounts. At first, Chloe thought it was a banking error. Then they discovered several payments that nobody could explain. The situation became worse when the bank informed them that some of the transactions had been authorized using Chloe's digital credentials. Nathan looked at me. "She thinks someone stole her identity. Has she contacted a lawyer?" "Yes." I nodded. Then Nathan said something I wasn't expecting. "She wants you to help." I almost smiled. "Woman who told me to stay away from her house." Nathan looked embarrassed. "I know. Does she need me?" "Because you worked with financial records for years. Her lawyer said someone needs to organize the documents before they can understand what's missing." I leaned back in my chair. I could have said no. Honestly, a part of me wanted to, not because I wanted revenge, but because I remembered how easily Chloe had pushed me out of her life. Still, I told Nathan, "Tell her I'll help." The next afternoon, Chloe came to my house. She stood outside my door holding 2 large boxes of documents. For a moment, neither of us said anything. Then she quietly said, "Thank you." I stepped aside. "Come in." We placed the boxes on the dining table. There were bank statements, invoices, contracts, emails, payment records, and dozens of pages of accounting reports. I spent the next several hours sorting everything by date. At first, nothing made sense. Then I noticed something strange. There were 3 payments made to a company called M. Carter Consulting. Chloe immediately said, "That's not one of our suppliers." I looked at the addresses. The company was registered to an address only 12 miles from Chloe's office. "Have you ever heard of this company?" "No." I checked the dates. 3 payments, $18,500, $24,000, $31,700, more than $74,000 in total. Then I noticed something else. The payments had been approved on 3 different dates. But Chloe had been out of the country on 2 of them. I pointed that out. She stared at the papers. "That's impossible." "Where were you?" "Paris. I have hotel records." "Then keep them." I continued searching. Around midnight, I found something even more important. A vendor agreement had been created using Chloe's electronic signature, but the document contained an old version of her signature that she hadn't used in more than 2 years. Someone had copied an old file. I looked at Chloe. "Someone has access to your old documents." Her face went pale. "Don't know." She immediately picked up her phone. I stopped her. "Don't call anyone yet." "Why?" "Because whoever did this might destroy evidence if they realize you've discovered it." That sentence changed everything. The next morning, Chloe's lawyer reviewed the documents. He immediately told her to preserve every email, login record, cloud document, and company message. A forensic accountant was brought in. For the first time, Chloe began to understand how serious the situation was, but there was another problem. Her business partner, Marcus, had suddenly stopped answering calls. He claimed he was sick, then he stopped showing up at the office. 2 days later, his lawyer contacted Chloe and accused her of mishandling company funds. Chloe was terrified. She came to my house that evening. "I don't know what to do." I looked at her. "You need to let your lawyer handle the legal side." "I know," she paused, "but I need someone to help me understand what's happening." I nodded. "We'll go through it." Over the next week, I helped organize everything. We created a timeline, every suspicious payment, every login, every email, every document. And slowly a pattern appeared. The fraudulent payments were always made shortly after Marcus received copies of company financial reports. The fake supplier account had been created just 3 weeks after Marcus had requested access to Chloe's accounting system. And the electronic signatures had been used from a computer connected to the company's office network. Chloe's lawyer sent the evidence to investigators. Then something unexpected happened. Marcus returned. He walked into the office acting as if nothing had happened. But investigators were waiting. They had discovered that the fake supplier company was connected to an account controlled by Marcus's brother. The money had been transferred through several accounts before eventually reaching them. Marcus had been stealing from the company while making it appear that Chloe had approved the transactions. The evidence was overwhelming. Chloe wasn't responsible. She had been betrayed by someone she trusted. A few months later, her company recovered much of the missing money. Marcus faced criminal charges. Chloe's business survived, but our relationship was still complicated. One evening, she came to my house alone. He didn't bring documents this time. She sat across from me at the kitchen table. "Owe you an apology," I smiled slightly. "What, for everything?" "Look down. I thought you were trying to control our lives. I convinced myself that you were the problem." I didn't interrupt. "I told you to stay away from my house," she continued. "And when you actually respected that, I realized something." "What? You didn't fight me?" I looked at her. "You asked me to leave you alone, so I did," she nodded. "I expected you to become angry. I expected you to complain to Nathan. I expected you to make me feel guilty." She took a breath. "But you didn't," I smiled. "I didn't want a war, Chloe." She started crying. "I know that now." There was a long silence. Then she said, "When everything fell apart, you were the person I trusted." I answered honestly. "You needed help, that's all." She shook her head. "No, I needed someone who wouldn't use my weakness against me." That sentence stayed with me. A few weeks later, Chloe invited me to her house for dinner. It was the first time I had been inside since she had banned me. When I reached the front door, she opened it herself. "Come in." I stepped inside. The house looked exactly the same, but something felt different. There was a new photograph hanging near the entrance. It was a picture of Nathan, Chloe, and me from several years earlier. I looked at it. Chloe smiled. I almost threw that picture away. "Didn't you?" Because I realized something. "What? Family isn't about who gets to control the house." She paused. "It's about who stays when everything falls apart." I didn't know what to say, so I simply hugged her. I never forgot the day Chloe banned me from her home. But I also never forgot what happened afterward. She thought pushing me away would protect her peace. Instead, when her life became complicated, she discovered that the person she had excluded was the same person willing to help her without asking for anything in return. And I learned something too. Sometimes you don't need to fight back when someone pushes you away. You just step back. You let them live with their decision. And if one day they realize they were wrong, you can decide for yourself whether to open the door again.